we'd like to talk about is really the lifeblood of retailing, which is not only the independent sector, but it's the new blood coming into the industry. It's start-up businesses, and all of you have started up, some more recently than others. So, Piers, you've got the most, the newest start-up business.
That's right, Orbitaire Blue. We're not quite a year old yet, but for us, it was a very big learning curve. Setting up the business. I would say it's all about planning, understanding what you're doing and how you're doing it, and having a clear vision, but being able to change and adapt that vision as things unfold. We had to change a number of things during our startup phase with regards to who we were going to bank with, what payment processing systems we'd be using, the back end of our actual website itself. We are predominantly an e-commerce company, so it's all about getting those little things in place, and it's a big minefield out there.
Did you start with, this is the concept, this is what we want to do, or I want to start an online retail business? What was the...
It was a combination of the two, actually. After discussion, I wanted to set up my own business. I met somebody who also wanted to set up their own business. We both had a very clear idea of what we wanted to do, and there was synergies in what we wanted to do. And we just snowballed ideas, and it evolved into something. We both had some really good strengths to help us with what we were doing from our backgrounds previously. And call on support from other people, friends, family, favours, whatever you can do.
Sometimes who you know, that can really help you. So when we were looking for different retail locations, but also the premises, I had a friend who was a solicitor, and very kindly she gave me her services for free, and that was a really fantastic bonus. And I think you're right, you know, obviously people setting up, they have a certain skill set, and you have to be honest with yourself and think, where are the gaps? One thing I think is very difficult is there's just so much information available to you. It's like information overload, and I don't really know the best advice I can give as to how to channel that down. But I think you do have to sort of channel it down. And for me, I've just came up with the priorities of the branding and the product offer. That was what I was starting off as my two sort of key priorities, and then going from there, really.
Yes.
Yeah. I think you never get to, well, maybe some people do, but I certainly, you're never 100% certain that every single, everything is going to work. And I think once you've done your research, you've done your numbers, you've done, put all the bits in place, you get to 70%, then you just have to go for it.
Yeah. It's a leap of faith, isn't it? You have to just commit, and then you will learn,
I think a key element to a startup is to start small, to test your concept. I think not be too ambitious from the start. So my unit is small. Now I'd like to move to somewhere bigger, but I'm glad that I started small. And I think, just going back to you on the product, Sally, I think maybe for fashion and with gift, the product bit is always the interesting side of it. And I think fashion, for someone going into fashion retailing, that's sort of, if you like, the fun bit, but it's actually all the bits around it. So the financials that are really, really, really key, and really understanding them before you launch your independent. And it needs to be, you need to have full understanding of it.
I'd always wanted to have my own business, but the most important thing I did was chucking in my job and starting for the first time. And of course I had a bit of a plan, but plans don't always work out, and so you've got to be prepared to push at doors that are half open, and don't bang your head against a brick wall if something isn't working. And if you start relatively small, relatively conservatively, and are prepared to adapt and change as things progress, and I think that's a much better place to be in. And actually, Mountain Warehouse, which is relatively successful but continuing to develop and grow all the time, was my fourth attempt. I think it's very hard to find something that is truly unique.
Yeah.
And actually, if you're trying to search for something truly unique, there might be a reason why it's not there, because there's a lot of people in the country trying to start a business, or hoping or thinking about starting a business. So you need to differentiate yourself with your product or your service or with prices, or with your location, and ideally with as many of those as you can, I would say.
I wonder how each of you would sort of summarise what the key lessons have been for you in your building your business or starting up your businesses. Lisa,
I
do you
would
want to?
say resilience is really key consideration. You need to not take no for an answer.
I'd be minded to say start.
Just start.
Most importantly,
Yeah.
start.
Learn as you go.
But be prepared to change depending on how it goes.
Don't try and plan for everything. Just get your idea, get your concept, flesh it out, and go for it.
Yeah.
You have to get to a point where you have to go with an opportunity. So again, it's just, you know, running with something.
Yeah. Thanks very much, everyone. I think you've really summarised it. I think independent retailing is about entrepreneurialism, and I think that message about just go for it, plan well, but go for it, and there's an element of risk, but you manage that risk. So thank you very much, everyone. Thank you.